the dance,
like
Sean. Ready?
Stupid. Yeah, I don't dance. No, we've already established that. I head bop. That's all I used to have to do.
Oh, my
Head
goodness.
bop, absolute and tonic for the ladies. Remember?
Yes. Good morning. Amy Jacobson here. Sean from Elmwood Park in for Dan Proff this morning and getting ready for the deuce. I'm calling it the deuce.
Well, this is my last hour. And it's back to mediocrity, baby.
Oh, it's going to be okay.
Back to everyone telling me, shut up.
Yeah. No, but the second debate this Sunday night at Washington University in St. Louis. I wonder, you know how these debates now, even the vice presidential debate, have become game day live events where you have the cheerleaders out, the marching band, the football team, and one time the girls volleyball team was playing.
I'm just tuning in for the polyester, the pastel polyester mouse tongue suit. That's the only thing I'm turning. You think the inner thigh is suede? You have to do something because we'll go up in flames.
Well, with more on this debate and a serious angle on this debate, not just what they're wearing, we're going to do a little pregame of our own with our very own Guy Benson, political editor of townhall.com and co-author of the book End of Discussion. Good morning, Guy. How are you?
I'm doing well, Amy. And you did mention football, but I won't mention what happened in Iowa City last week.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Yes, we got beat by Northwestern. It's so embarrassing. But we play Minnesota this weekend, so hopefully we'll redeem ourselves, all right?
Bounce back for you guys, sure.
All right, so, Guy, you're heading down there to St. Louis as well. And what do you expect? What's the tone of this debate? Do you think it'll be a lot different than the first one or more of the same?
Well, I mean, I think the tone will be different just because of the structure of the debate. It's sort of the town hall style of a forum. So you'll have questioners that have been selected, undecided voters, putting the questions to each candidate, and then two moderators, Anderson Cooper and Martha Raddatz. So I just think it's going to be a much bigger sort of show than it was with just one moderator and two podiums. I think that probably benefits Trump a little bit. I think that he was out of his element one-on-one in a very serious type of forum. I think that this format probably gives him a little bit more an opportunity to operate in his comfort zone, but it's still he has to perform at a very high level with lots and lots of people watching. And, you know, I certainly hope for the sake of his campaign and for down-ballot Republicans that he's done more preparation than he did last time.
Guy, do you think if in the event of a Donald Trump loss, do you think that the Republicans will reevaluate the idea of I can manage your failed policies better and start to really promote kind of the Reagan agenda of what America was about freedom and liberty and capitalism? Or am I doing what Dan Proff likes to say, howling at the moon?
Well, I'm afraid that a traditional conservative agenda is off the table with Donald Trump as the nominee. I mean, you saw glimmers of it in that vice presidential debate where I was like, oh my gosh, Mike Pence, that's right. This is what it sounds like when a conservative defends conservative ideas on a national stage. This feels right to me. But I think with Trump at the top of the ticket, it's even if he doesn't do well on Sunday, I think that will really, if he has another debate loss, I think he's in very serious trouble. He's been sliding anyway in the polling. He needs a bounce back performance. He might deliver one. If he doesn't, I think you'll see some major sweaty palms and indigestion all around the party, especially among some of these Senate candidates whose fates depend on Trump not losing by a significant margin. But I just don't think that there's enough time left in the fall for the whole party to pivot to something new. There was a New York Times story this week about how there are a lot of people, considering, well, if he loses again down in St. Louis, they're gonna cut him loose. I feel like we've read a story about the Republicans thinking about cutting Trump loose every month, and it's just not, especially now at this point, not feasible. This is the person they've nominated. This is who they're stuck with for better or for worse. And so I think that if you're, Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania or Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, or for that matter, Mark Kirk in Illinois, you are praying that Donald Trump has learned some lessons from what happened last Monday and took some notes while Mike Pence debated this week and might turn in a better showing because, Hillary Clinton will be prepared.
Well, vice presidential debates don't normally change the outcome of a presidential election. But for me personally, I'm trying, Guy, to really to like Donald Trump, to get behind him. But Pence on the ticket added some respectability and some credibility and some trustworthiness to that Republican ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right, and he did very well. Earlier this week in Virginia, I thought that he beat Tim Kaine pretty soundly, and, he really, the one thing that everyone was pointing out was that when he was challenged to defend certain things that you can't really defend from Donald Trump, he just sort of laughed them off or shook his head and was able to pivot over to the next thing that he wanted to say. But he came prepared not just to defend conservatism and to, spin Trumpism into something, fairly attractive and palatable and defend Trump when he could. He also came with a briefing book memorized to come after Hillary Clinton at almost every opportunity, and her record and President Obama's record. And he was very, very effective at that. And that is where I think Donald Trump fell very short, 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. There were big, giant openings. Basically, Hillary Clinton putting out a welcome mat to attack her or Barack Obama's record, and Trump just kind of missed the memo. So hopefully he has buckled down a little bit more seriously, and will have certain opportunities where he's been trained and prepared, where he can hear a buzzword or two or get a sense of an attack line Hillary Clinton is launching and be ready not just to defend himself or to go down a rabbit hole, as he seemed to on occasion, but to say, let's talk about you. You're the political figure who's been on the scene for 30 years. You have a record as a senator and a secretary of state. It's not a good one. Here's why. We need something different. We can't have the same people running the same country because Americans aren't happy with the direction of the country.
Well, I've never believed that the lie of utopians, just statism, is just where everything is free and everybody's great and we're all dressed like Star Trek in the future, was ever going to get beat by self-managed. I'm almost there, and I promise I'll do better. So do you think that we'll abandon this whole idea of I can do these programs you want better? Because, Guy, I don't know what the Republicans are anymore. I mean, I hear them. They're pro-minimum wage increases. They're pro-abortion. They're pro-choice. Mandated. Well, let's call it what it is. They want. I'm not going to play word games with morons. We're going to call it what it is. So they're pro this and they're pro that, and we're almost like Democrats. And I think the goal has been to get the people who just couldn't stand Hillary and just couldn't vote and say, I'll replace the fundamentalists like myself, the people who stand for liberty and freedom. We're going to replace those guys with just the other. And if they lose, what do you think? You think it's going to be here to stay?
I think it's very difficult to predict the future of the party right now. I wouldn't say that the party as a whole is pro all the things that you listed. I think that it's difficult when you have someone at the top of the ticket whose views and values are at best mysterious and shifting. And so, we'll cross the bridge when we come to it, if and when Trump loses. I think that if you look at the polling right now, unless you are a hardcore Trump person who doesn't believe any of the polls, he is set to lose at the moment. Does that mean he will lose in November? No, we've got time to go. We've got 2 debates. There's, Hillary Clinton is a deeply flawed candidate who is so flawed, in fact, that she could lose to Donald Trump. But he needs to make some moves and change some things, because it's not just at the national level; it's at the swing states. He has deteriorated in his standing since that debate, and she has gained. And I think he understands. He's not a dumb guy. Sometimes he's ignorant, but he's not a dumb guy. He's very good at self-promotion. He can understand a moment, and I think he understands that Sunday night is a hugely important night for his campaign, his candidacy.
All right. Thank you so much, Guy Benson, political editor for townhall.com, Northwestern Wildcat, blah, blah, blah.
Can we talk to Verlin?
Co-author of End of Discussion. Thanks, Guy. We'll see you on Sunday in St. Louis.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.